This week's episode of I Was a Teenage Film Snob is not brought to you by a many splendid thing. Welcome to I Was a Teenage Film Snob. I'm James Chalmers, your friendly neighborhood film snob, and this is part 2 of my conversation with Michael Seary from We Love Horror. Last week you would have heard us barely scratch the surface on rom-coms because there's a lot of talk about Scream 7. There's so much chat in this episode that we had to split it in two. My editing program could not handle it. So you've heard the first couple of movies on our list. Now we're going to dive back into the rest of them and enjoy the rest of the conversation.
Let me talk about my number 8 instead. I'm trying to figure. I think it might be the sexiest movie on my list. I think it probably is. It's got some very sexy people in it. Crazy Stupid Love with Ryan
I
Gosling,
love that movie.
Emma Stone, Steve Carell. I'm trying to think who plays. Is it Julianne Moore? It is Julianne Moore, isn't it? Plays his ex-wife.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Has some problematic stuff in it as well. I rewatched it not too long ago, and I'm like, oh yeah, like the 17-year-old girl is sending naked pics to Steve Carell. That's weird. But it's so good. It's such a good movie. It's so funny. It's so cleverly written. The idea of like Steve Carell, like his wife cheats on him, and like he literally he goes, if you keep talking, I'm gonna open this door and get out of this car whilst driving, and then delivers on it, like just jumps out of a moving car. The idea of him like kind of trying to rebuild his life, and then he meets Ryan Gosling at the bar, and Ryan Gosling like that guy is just like, I was talking before about, I'm like, hey Michael, can you not have all the talent, please? Like Ryan Gosling like is the man with all the talent. Like he's funny and he's like charming and like he's a good actor and like he can do so many different things. Like
he's also a singer. I'm like,
yes,
who knew that you were a singer? Like, where the fuck did this come from? And he's a dancer too. I'm like, well, I knew that from, isn't he in La La Land?
He's in La La Land, but he was one of the Mickey Mouse Club kids from back in the day, so he's always
true.
Good. But as you know, as men, like we don't always get to keep our lovely singing voices. I had a hell of a voice before puberty, and now, I just keep my mouth shut, to be honest. But like he's actually always been my first pick for Aquaman. I'm like, if you're gonna go like classic like blonde Aquaman, get Ryan Gosling in there, take his shirt off, put him in his green trunks, like it'll be great.
Yes,
Give him a slap on a beard, like it'll be great. But then the wonderful thing about it is like Steve Carell is kind of like finding his confidence again, and like Julianne Moore is kind of like finding her confidence, and like Ryan Gosling is kind of changing and falling in love with Emma Stone, and then they hit you with this twist, and I'm gonna spoil it because this flick is over 10 years old. In fact, it's almost 15 years old. But the twist is that Ryan Gosling is dating Emma Stone, who is Steve Carell's daughter, and they do it so well because he's got a nickname you never once suspected. And then when it happens, you're like, oh my god, like this changes the dynamic of this friendship quite abruptly. It's so beautiful. And then you got the little boy, like Steve Carell's son is in love with the neighbor girl who's in love with Steve Carell. And like then Steve Carell has that wonderful speech at the end of graduation where he's talking about how like because his son has lost faith in love and like the girl he's obsessed with like isn't into him, he's into his dad, and like his dad and his mom are get back together, and like he thinks that love is pointless and everything's pointless. And Steve Carell gives this amazing speech about like the importance of love, and like whilst things aren't working out okay now, like you can never give up on it because the one thing that we all have to rely on is love. Like every time I watch that speech, it makes me cry. It's so beautiful. It's one of the films again that came out of nowhere. I was like, how dare this movie be this good? It really balances. Like most rom-coms, we haven't touched on too much here, but most rom-coms tend to lean pretty heavy on either the romance or the comedy. It's quite hard to find that balance, I think. But Crazy Stupid Love might execute it the best. Like it's just so well balanced. Everyone is on their A game. Everyone's great. Marissa Tomei is in it as the crazy teacher. I forgot about that. And there's that really awkward scene where they're at the parent-teacher interview where like Marissa Tomei has slept with Steve Carell and he's there with his ex-wife and she doesn't know what's going on. And it's so awkward. I think it's brilliant. I think it's such a great film, and even with the problematic ending of the the girl being like, "Hey, 13-year-old boy, here are my naked photos. You can enjoy them until you're old enough to date me."
Oh my god!
I saw that.
Yikes.
When I saw that the other day, I'm like, "Oh, I forgot about that." That's weird, but also like, if I was a 13-year-old boy, I would wish that happened to me.
But it's not weird for the 13-year-old boy. It's weird for the girl that is eliciting basically porn to a minor. It's really
and
it's
I
kind of
think
gross.
I think the only way they get away with that joke is because she's also a minor, because she's not
Yeah.
18. But even still, it's very problematic.
Yeah.
But that aside, it's a great movie.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it is. I love it. I haven't seen it in a really long time. Like it didn't make my list, and I think that's just because it's a movie I haven't watched in God, I'd say 10 years, but I think it's a really good movie. I enjoy it. I'm definitely up for a rewatch. So
I would say we're doing pretty well. We're 4 movies in each, so we're at 8 movies total. Oh no, 6 movies. Sorry, we're not that far ahead. We've got a while to go. But we haven't had any crossover yet, which is pretty interesting, because you would
I
think there'd be some
know.
classics. I feel like we might get a couple of, although, and again, like I don't want to play that card. I'm not trying to play a card or anything, but because our romantic interests aren't the same either, we kind of go different ways. That might be informing our list as well. I don't know, but like we might never
Yeah.
cross over.
True. True.
There we go.
We'll see about this number 7 pick. Are you ready?
Hit me with number 7.
Okay, so this movie stars Jennifer Lopez and Jane Fonda, and I don't remember the guy that's getting married to Jennifer Lopez in the movie, but he's also in another movie that's on my list that's coming up.
I know what you're talking about.
But it's Monster in Law.
I knew you were going to say that.
I love this movie so much. I remember actually seeing this movie in the theater when it came out, and like I don't remember like the theater experience like super clear, but I remember going and seeing this movie in the theater, and it's just so funny to me. Like it's basically, that kind of storyline where, these two people end up meeting, they fall in love. He's from a very well-to-do family. She's not from a well-to-do family, but she's a very hard worker. She has like 7 other jobs. Like she works as like a caterer. She's a dog walker. She does like all these different things. So like she knows like the value of work. So she's like equally, as not to say that like nobody's equal to another person just because of money or whatever, but like she's an equal like she's of equal work. See, I don't want to say it like that because it sounds bad, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like
I would say that the character that Jennifer Lopez plays works as hard as Jennifer Lopez did in the 2000s making rom-coms.
Yeah. She put in her paycheck.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, seriously. She put in her paycheck for sure. But basically, she ends up meeting his mom, who is played by Jane Fonda, and she's so fucking funny in this movie. Like, there's just like she's so unhinged and psychotic because basically his mom like recently got out of rehab or like a mental health facility because she attacked someone on her talk show because she found out she was getting fired. So then she comes home from like this wellness facility and finds out that her son is engaged or like dating this girl. And so she starts trying to sabotage it, and it's just so funny. Like there's just certain things that are hilarious. Like I forget her name, but she plays Ruby in the movie. She's like Jane Fonda's assistant, and like there's a funny exchange where he just proposes to her and she's like, Ruby, can you get to the key to the liquor cabinet so we can celebrate? And she's like, key? There is no key. And Jane Fonda's like, Ruby, bring me the key. And she's like, you want to take this outside? It's just so funny. And then she's like, and fix your hair. You look like a damn cockatoo. It's so funny. Like, there's just so many funny interactions in this movie, and I love the story. I love the acting from everybody. Like I think Jennifer Lopez is really good in this movie. Not to say that she's not good in like other things that she's been in, but I feel like she's the most raw in this movie in some of her emotions. Like there's certain scenes where like you feel the emotion. And I really like that. And I like the storyline. I like the way it wraps up in a nice little bow. It's one of those movies that's a very happy ending, you know? So, and it's really funny. Like it's aged very well. Like I think a lot of the comedy is still pretty fucking hilarious. Like there's this awkward dinner scene where he invites someone that Jane Fonda knows that it's very uncomfortable. And then Jane Fonda invites somebody that like is from her son's past. And then she tries to basically tries to murder her by putting peanuts in the gravy because she's allergic. Jennifer Lopez's character is allergic to peanut, like to
Ooh,
nuts.
that wouldn't fly in movies today. You'd hear the parents group coming out against that.
Yeah, so there's a whole scene with that where she like attempted murder. She tries to fucking kill her. But I mean, it's still a great movie. I love it. It's aged very well. It's a movie that I can watch anytime, really. So yeah, that's my number 7 is Monster-in-Law.
It's so funny, man. Like every film you've listened so far, I haven't seen, but you're selling it to me. But like every single one, I remember when they came out when I worked in the video store because they're all from the same period of time, pretty much. And every time like I walked past them, I was like, pfft. Like that was my reaction. Like it was so not my genre back then. I think it was these films that made me not interested in rom-coms because selling them so well, I'm like, I was definitely wrong. I'm gonna go check all of these out.
Yeah,
I've matured a lot. It's so funny.
I liked that. I liked that joke that you made that she put in a lot of time doing a lot of romance because she's in so many. Yeah,
we've been talking about the 2000s a lot on the podcast, like with my regulars, and we talk about how like 2000s one of the best decades for film because there was just so much coming out and the studios weren't afraid to make smaller movies. And my example is like, every year there'd be a J-Lo rom-com. What happened to those? And like, that's not even a joke. There was like, she was in so many rom-coms.
Yeah, her and Jennifer Aniston were in a few.
Yeah.
Well, there was someone else that was like super popular with the rom-coms back in the day, but I can't think of who she is right now. But yeah, no,
I think
so
Sarah
funny.
Jessica Parker did a few as well. There were a couple, yeah. Well, but yeah, there were definitely a few. Kate Hudson. Kate Hudson had a big rom-com career.
Don't even get me started on Kate Hudson. I love her so much.
She had a bunch of rom-coms out.
She did.
So my number 7 is the parody film I was referring to before. It came out in 2014. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's brilliant. It's so funny and somehow like manages to really like make fun of those rom-com tropes, but still tell a really great love story. It sounds dirty, but it's not, and it's called They Came Together. And it's got Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler in the lead, and it's it's ripping on every trope you can think of. She's like an independent business owner. She runs like a sweet shop in Manhattan, and she's like, I wanted all the children to have candy whenever they want, so that I don't charge them anything. And then like Paul Rudd like works for like this candy conglomerate that's taking over small candy stores, like so they can have like giant mega warehouses. And like all of his friends like represent a different personality trait as they would in a rom-com. There's like the sporty guy and the guy who can't be tied down and the guy who's too committed to his wife. And like they just like talk about their traits in the movie. It's got Jason Mantzoukas, who's a fantastic actor. He's really funny. It's got who else is in it?
Does it have Tina Fey in it? Because
Tina
I feel
Fey
like
it's not. Oh, sorry about that.
What just happened? Oh, your microphone fell?
My little headset adapter thing dropped. Tina Fey is not in it, unfortunately.
Surprising, because I was like, any Amy Poehler movie, I feel like Tina Fey's in there somewhere, and vice versa.
What's the Christopher Maloney's in it? He plays like this crazy guy who runs the business. There's a lot of like I'm trying to think of there's like do you know the podcast How Did This Get Made with Paul Scheer and stuff like that?
Yep.
Like that whole group of comedians, like I can't remember the name of the company, but like all those people are in that movie, like from that kind of group of comedians. Like I'm blanking on them right now, but it's so Bill Hader's in it. Ellie Kemper's in it. They play a married couple like in the framing device. So like the film opens with them reminiscing on their relationship, and then like it'll cut back to them telling the story, and then jump back into the the main story and stuff like that. But it's just
I'm really
sorry, go on.
Sorry. Oh well, I was just gonna say I'm really glad you brought up Ellie Camper because she is someone else that I absolutely fucking adore. She is so funny, like in everything she's in.
She's amazing. She's my she plays my favorite character in The Office. Like Erin in The
Oh,
Office.
oh my god, thank you. Me too.
She's my
yeah,
favorite character. Like people like she's not cute or funny. She's stupid and like no, she's naive. There's a difference. Like she's wholesome. I love Erin. Erin is my hands down my favorite character in The Office.
Same.
So
and
great.
my favorite episode off The Office is the one where he takes her where he takes her out to lunch for like the appreciation, and she's like she finds out that Andy's like had sex with Angela, and she's like my at the orphanage my hair was my room.
Yeah.
And she's like she's like freaking out, like having a moment in the it's so funny.
Yeah, she's brilliant. Like everything I see her, I know she had a whole show. Like I thought Kimmy Schmidt was fine. I like 30 Rock. I like Kimmy Schmidt. I like Girls 5 Ever, but I think those shows are very, very extra. So I can only watch them in small doses. But I do like them. But I'd love to see her do more. I'd love to see her get more. Like she has my favorite line in Bridesmaids. Like controversially, I'm not the biggest fan of Bridesmaids. I don't think it's a bad film, but I think it is I do think it's very overrated. But
I have to go. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Although I haven't rewatched it in a while, to be fair. And my opinion's always changing. But she has one of my favorite lines in it where they're on the plane and she's like, "You got the prettiest hair. You could be a princess." Like it's just so innocent. And I'm like, that's great. Like,
you're a born beautiful Cinderella. You have a face. You smell like pine needles, and you have a face like sunshine.
Yeah.
It's fucking great. And I love the part where she's also like, "Ooh, what about a Pixar theme shower? We all come dressed as our favorite Pixar characters." Yeah. And then she's like, "I can't wait to be married as long as you have kids, be a mom." Yeah, she's fucking so underrated, and she's so funny to me.
Yeah, no, she's great. She's not in this a heap, but when she isn't, she's very funny. But
sorry, I cut you off. You were
that's totally fine. But yeah, like it's very adult. Like it's obviously like very full on, like taken to the nth degree, but just some of the tangents they go on, some of the dumb stuff. Like there's like a whole scene where they're like playing football in the office, like really closely, and then one guy throws the football too far, and the guy ends up like falling out the window of a skyscraper, just hanging on for no reason. There's no rhyme or reason for it to happen. It just happens. It's a David Wayne film. He did the like Wet Hot American Summer and all those films and stuff like that. So it's that guy, it's that style of humor, but it's so funny. Like we actually watched it on Valentine's Day this year. Like my wife was like, "Do you want to watch like a movie?" And she's like, like what, like in the mood for a rom-com? I'm like, I was thinking maybe They Came Together. And she's like, "Oh my god, yes, let's watch that one again." It's so stupid, but like I would say it's probably the best thing since the Scary Movie first two movies. Like most parody since they haven't really done a good job. This one does a great job. It's so ridiculous and funny and silly and just wonderful. 100% would recommend.
Can't wait to watch it. And I love. Okay, I know we brought this up before, but I love that we have not
no crossover
matched. No crossover yet. Nope. We might cross over with this one because this is a very popular one. And I'll be very shocked and surprised if you have not seen this movie, because this is like one of the most like popular rom-com, at least in my opinion. I see it on a lot of people's top 10 lists. And that's going to be an Adam Sandler movie by the name of 50 First Dates.
Oh, I do love that movie, but it's not on my list.
Okay. Well, I love the premise. You know the premise. Basically, Adam Sandler and I love Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore is on another film on my list. I hope I didn't spoil that for people. I probably did. But I fucking love Drew Barrymore. I think she's an amazing actress. But her and Adam Sandler star in this movie, and it's basically they live in Hawaii, and Adam Sandler comes across this beautiful woman in a diner one day, and they start talking, and it starts really good. And then what he doesn't realize is that she had a traumatic car accident, which gave her a really bad traumatic brain injury where she loses all of her long-term memory, or she loses
she can't create new memories.
Right. So she has so she relives the same day over and over and over again. And the effort that everybody goes to like toward in this movie to make the day the same, like they have to repaint the house. They have to put out the same newspaper from like a year ago because they don't want her to like know that she's living the same day.
Yeah.
So basically it's about him trying to like figure out how to date this woman and like fall in love with this woman because she can't fucking remember him the next day. And this movie is just so funny. Like it has so many great moments. My favorite part of this entire movie, there's two favorite parts. So the first one is when she beats the shit out of Rob Schneider with the
Yeah.
fucking baseball bat, and she's like, it's so funny. Like it's so fucking funny. And then I love the other scene where they're watching The Sixth Sense, and she's like surprised every fucking time she watches it. So good.
Oh, that's so funny.
So good.
I'm glad you mentioned Rob Schneider, because Rob Schneider is one of those actors I think is, very divisive, but I think he's used best in these types of roles. Like, I don't mind like Deuce Bigelow and stuff like that, but like just the way they kind of like, he's got to play the eccentric, weird friend who's not really a friend to Adam Sandler. And whenever they do that, it works. Like him as like the delivery guy in Big Daddy, great. Like him as the you can do it guy, great. But like in this, and he's like got the coconut bra on and stuff, and like the
He's
whole
like rubbing his nipples. Yeah.
so good. And it's such a sweet movie as well. And that ending like makes me cry every time. It's
Oh, I
so beautiful.
know.
And taking that rendition of Somewhere Over the Rainbow, that was the first time I'd ever heard that version. And I was just like, this is like that is peak rom-com to me. Like it's a really good choice.
Well, and I love like the little subtle twist towards the end of them. I guess it's not really a twist, but it's kind of like a revelation that we have as audience members, that we kind of get to have the same realization at the same time that Adam Sandler does, that she does somewhat remember him because
Yeah.
she's been painting like this man, like she's been painting him in her, because she's a painter, like she does art. And like you realize that she does somewhat remember him, like he is kind of like a reoccurring person in her mind. She just can't fully remember like everything that they do together, which I think is a nice like little revelation at the end where you're like, oh shit, she does kind of remember him. And then like you were saying with the ending, I love the ending of this movie where she wakes up on the boat and they're like in, I don't know if they're in Alaska, I think they're somewhere where there's like ice and snow everywhere, but it's so nice, it's so cute. And then they have a child together and it's just so adorable. But you were talking about Rob Schneider. The line that came to my mind was hip hop anonymous.
Yeah.
God damn it, you give him all the easy ones.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Oh man, that's a great one. I've got it here as well. I've got to watch it again. It's been a little while. But yeah, someone else mentioned on the podcast last year, I think. I was like, yeah, I gotta get back to 51st Dates. It's been a while since I've seen it. It's so good.
Oh, so good.
Like that's like my favorite era of Adam Sandler, from like late 90s through to like mid 2000s. I think that might be the last one, maybe the last one in his kind of career before I started to drift away. I think like after that was maybe Zohan, which wasn't really my thing.
If you have not seen, this is another rom-com that didn't quite make the list. It almost did, and I like thought about it really hard, but I was like, no, this is more of an honorable mention. Like I love this movie, but Just Go With It. It's another film with him and Jennifer Aniston.
With Jennifer Aniston. I haven't seen that one. That was I think later on, but
that movie is hilarious.
Okay, so I'll definitely check it out then, because I love all the others. Like they just announced, and I shouldn't get too excited, but they just announced that Happy Gilmore 2 is happening. I was like, it's probably gonna go the same way as all these other like late sequels, but I love Happy Gilmore and everyone's coming back.
Me too.
So I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Because you can't do a sequel to Billy Madison. You can't do that voice anymore. Like you can't do Billy Madison. You can't do Waterboy. Maybe you can do Little Nicky, but like not too many.
Yeah.
Oh man. So my number 6, I would say, is probably this is the first of 3 that people might not consider rom-coms. I think it does fall in the banner. I'll explain my reasoning in a moment. I would also say that of all the films on my list, this is probably the least appreciated film. I think a lot of people tend to like criticize this film a lot. It does have J-Lo in it.
Okay.
It came out in the 2000s. It's one of the many she did. She's not in it for too long because she gets killed off in the first 10 minutes. And it's Jersey Girl.
Oh, I've never seen this one.
Oh, I love Jersey Girl. I remember when it came out, like, so I'm a big Kevin Smith fan. A lot of people know that. And I remember, like, when I first got into Kevin Smith stuff, like, he would make fun of it because everyone else had made fun of it. And, like, everyone was like, Jersey Girl sucks because Kevin Smith's not doing dirty jokes anymore. And, like, when you try to, like, clean your act up, you see what talent you really have, and he doesn't have any. It's beautiful. And the reason why people might not think of it as a rom-com is because J-Lo does die in the first 10 minutes. Apparently there's a 4-hour director's cut in which she's got like an hour worth of footage before she dies, which has never been released. And I'm like, I'm here for it. Like, show me the 4-hour cut.
Yeah.
I loved it the
They
first time.
they wanted to pull a Drew Barrymore and be like, yeah, you see this girl that's always in these romantic comedies. Yeah, we're gonna kill her in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway, sorry.
the reason why was because it was in the middle of Bennifer. Like, remember how like the whole Bennifer thing happened, and then Gigli came out, and people didn't like Gigli, and the producers were like, "Sorry, Kev, we got to cut J-Lo out, otherwise this film's going to tank." Which is so weird that like someone's relationship would impact the success of a film, but that's what the 2000s were.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
basically, like, Ben Affleck plays this really successful media coordinator. Like, he works for like a record company, and he's about to introduce everyone to like Will Smith, the Fresh Prince, because like he's making it like it's around the time where like he's transitioning away from like being an actor into his rap career. And he's like the Fresh Prince sucks, and he has this whole like breakdown, and then he loses his job, and his wife dies in childbirth, and he's got like to raise this little girl all by himself. Now, I loved this movie the first time I saw it when I was 16 years old. Rewatching it as a father had such a profound effect on me. The reason why I don't consider classify it as a rom-com, there's definitely a romantic storyline in there, but this is a love story about a father and a daughter, and like finding everything he lost in this kid, and it's so beautiful. So after like he has this meltdown, his wife dies, he moves back to Jersey, and he's just like working for like the town or whatever, just doing like landscaping jobs and stuff like that, not really pursuing his dreams. And he's always talking about like, when my daughter's old enough, I'll go back to New York and we'll have the life we're supposed to have. And his dad's played by the late great George Carlin, who's like an alcoholic but is really sweet, and he lost his wife as well, so they got this weird like kind of synonymous relationship. But Ben Affleck doesn't really like his dad. Like, he just kind of puts up with him because he's kind of this drunk guy who never left Jersey. Whereas Ben Affleck's like, New York, we always have to go up and succeed.
Yeah.
And then like around a third of the way through the movie, they go to the video store, like for their weekly visit or whatever. And there's a new girl working in the video store played by Liv Tyler. And she makes a joke about Ben Affleck hiring pornos because like he's a single dad. And she's like, she's like, well, what, is your wife going to complain about this? And then like the little girl goes, my mum died giving birth to me. And like, it's really awkward. And Liv Tyler's like, oh my God, I just offended this poor guy. And then like this really kind of charming romance blossoms out of it. Like, because like they keep going back to the video store and they kind of get together and stuff like that. And it's just really sweet. Like, and I think I just think people didn't understand or appreciate it at the time because they just knew Kevin Smith had been the Clerks guy. They didn't realize he could do sweet, but it's so wonderful. And like their love story is really, really beautiful as well. Like, it's really fun. And Liv Tyler was just coming off Lord of the Rings, so she was like peak Liv Tyler. My favorite Liv Tyler role is from Empire Records, but she's great in this as well.
Nice.
And then like there's this moment, and it's like this crushed me, like especially the most recent time I watched it. Like, there's this huge fight because he has an opportunity to go back to New York. Like, things are changing. He can go back to New York and kind of fix things, but like it would mean he's going to miss out on his daughter at this play and stuff like that. And they have this huge argument. And like, she's 7, so she tells him that she hates him, and like he's so like stressed out and frustrated and crushed because like he's been living in despair for like 7 years. And he tells his daughter that he hates her. He's like, I hate you too. I wish you were never born. Like, if you weren't born, like I still have my wife and all this stuff. And like, it's devastating.
Shit.
It's devastating. Like, and then like you're like, he's meant to be the hero of the story, and now I hate him. And then obviously like things work out. Like, he kind of turns it around.
Yeah.
Like, he makes good on everything, and like, but it's just like this little gem that no one ever talks about. And I know I haven't really talked about the romance between him and Liv Tyler. And like, that's definitely a part of it because it's about finding new love after losing love, and that's really important. Like, I think, when it comes to romance, we always think about our one and only, and there's only one person for me. But sometimes horrible things happen, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't have love in your life. So it's a story about that, but it's really like a story about a father and daughter. And so I just think like, I actually think it's one of his best films. I think like it's so underrated and unappreciated, but like it's just such beautiful story. Really funny as well. Like, the girl goes to a Catholic school, and they're all doing like a musical performance, and like Ben Affleck only knows one musical, and it's Sweeney Todd. So they're like, oh, we're going to do God That's Good. And the nun's like, oh, it must be a hymn. It's called God That's Good. And it's all about beheadings and stuff like that.
Okay, actually, now that you're like talking about this movie more and more, like you mentioned the video store scene with him and Liv Tyler, I have seen parts of this movie. I just don't remember all of it, but I do remember. And I think the reason why I watched some of this movie, the reason why it grabbed my attention is because one, I'm obsessed with Liv Tyler. So when I found out that she was in this movie, I was like, ooh. So I think I did watch a little bit of this movie because she was in it. And then I think I got a little uninterested because she wasn't the focal point of the movie.
No,
So I think
she's not.
Which I know is like super shitty of me to say because I'm like, you can't just watch a movie for one person and be like, okay, well, she's not in it enough, so I'm going to turn it off now. But I think I watched this movie like a really long time ago. So
yeah, 2004, I think it came out. So it's 20 years old this year.
Yeah,
but I adore it. So it doesn't strictly fit the genre, like the definition of rom-com. There definitely is that adult, the kind of love story in there, but the focal point is not that. I'm aware of it, but I can't not talk about it. I just think it's such a brilliant film. I just think it's so unappreciated. It got released it just was a victim of bad timing, like more than anything else. But I think it's really great. So 100% recommend to people to check out Jersey Girl.
I love that. Yeah,
which and you can tell, like, I got really passionate about this one more than any other film so far. It means a lot to me.
No, that's awesome.
We are halfway through, and it's only almost 7 a.m. So we're doing well.
We're doing great. Yes. Okay, so my number 5, and you actually you briefly mentioned this movie a while ago. I don't know if that's
2 hours ago when we started the show.
But it's a film that I don't feel like I've seen it on people's lists, but I've also seen a lot of people say that they really don't like this film, and I don't understand why. But that's gonna be Valentine's Day. I fucking love this movie. I think, and yes, do I think it's like a film that like has like there are so many celebrities in this movie. I can't even tell you how many.
Is this the Bon Jovi one? Or is he in New Year's Eve? He must be New Year's Eve.
He's in New Year's Eve because I don't remember Bon Jovi being in this movie. But like you have Anne Hathaway, you have Jessica Alba, you have Ashton Kutcher, you have Topher Grace, you have all these fucking people in this movie. You have Julia Roberts, you have all these people, and Emma Roberts is in this movie too. She's great. Taylor Swift is in this movie. I cannot believe she wasn't the first one I said.
To see what. Yeah. Okay. No.
Yeah. But like
Emma Roberts playing Jill, which was really strange actually for a rom-com.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she has the same brown hair and everything. But yeah, no, I love this movie because it like follows. It's one of those movies. It's kind of like Trick or Treat in a sense. It's like a very anthology type of like film where it like follows different people's lives on the same day, like the day of love. And it follows like all these different storylines. Like you've got Ashton Kutcher's storyline where he proposes to Jessica Alba and she rejects him. And then you have this like storyline with Taylor Swift and Taylor Lautner because this is when they were dating at the time.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and he's like the stupid high school jock and she's the ditzy cheerleader. And there's like such a funny scene with her where she's being interviewed on TV by like a news crew. And she's like, yeah. And she's like, so it's so funny. And there's like a scene. Oh, Jennifer Gardner's in this movie too. There's a scene with Taylor Swift and Jennifer Gardner in like because they live in the same apartment building. And so they're riding down in the elevator together and Taylor Swift's holding this huge fucking like teddy bear. It's enormous. It's like you can't even see her behind it. And she's like, do you live here? She has like this stupid voice the whole time. It's just funny. And then Emma Roberts has like a storyline with her high school boyfriend where they're like going to have sex for the first time. And it's just really funny. And then you get like this fun little twist towards the end of the movie where there's this child character and like he has a crush on, I don't remember who it is in the movie. I think it might be Emma Roberts. Cause like some of these people's lives like collide with each other, and it's really
cool. Very much Love Actually. Love Actually is very much anthology, and then they have some crossover as well. So it sounds like it's a very similar model. And you are, again, like you're a great pitch man because I'm like, this does sound kind of great actually.
Well, and if this doesn't grab your attention, I don't know what will. Because I think this is the best storyline in the whole film. Anne Hathaway works part-time. I don't remember what she does like as her other job, but she also works as like a phone sex operator. And it's so fucking funny because there's this scene where she's like talking to this one guy and she's like, because she works at like for this, I think it's Kathy Bates. I think she works for Kathy Bates, but then she also does like phone sex at work. And there's a scene where her boss catches her doing it, and she's like, I will take that riding crop and I will whip you with it. It's so funny. And I'm not explaining it well if you haven't seen it, but people who've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But there's like a really fun storyline with her and Topher Grace, where Topher Grace doesn't know what she does. Like he doesn't know she's a phone sex operator. And so there's just so many things. And then there's a fun little twist where you find out that the little kid character, his mom is Julia Roberts' character. Like you think that she's flying home because she's in the army, she's in the military. You think she's flying home to see like her boyfriend or her husband or whatever. She gets in like this really deep conversation with this guy that she meets on a plane, and she's talking about like this person, and you think it's going to be like her husband or something. And then she comes home and it's her son, and it's so cute. It's such a sweet little.
That's really sweet.
But I really love this movie for the fact that like there are and I've told you there's so many things going on in this movie, and it sounds like it could be so chaotic, but somehow it all just works so well. And like all these stories tie up so nicely, and everything is just so nice, and I love this movie. That's all. I'm very passionate about it. The higher that we get on this
list, you
list,
sold me on. I'm like, I'm gonna check out Valentine's Day. Yeah.
It's great. Oh, and not to mention it has a nice little Taylor Swift song, Today Was a Fairy Tale, which I was obsessed with when this movie came out. I was like, I love this song. Where was this my whole life? But yeah, that's my number 5. So breaking into my top 5, I thought that was an appropriate number 5. So
no, that's great. And yeah, you're again like every single one of yours that I haven't seen, which is all of them except for one. I'm like, I do have to check this out now. You've really sold me on. I'm gonna try and pick up the pace because I think I'm slowing us down.
No, you're not. I promise.
My number 5 is the second one, which I think is kind of maybe doesn't quite fit the. It's definitely a rom-com, but it's got a lot more going on. It's got some science fiction and some stuff in there. It's a real indie darling, and it's a flick called Safety Not Guaranteed. I don't know if you've seen this one or not.
I've never even heard of this one.
Oh, so like basically, so Jake Johnson from New Girl is like this reporter for like a small newspaper, and he's got 2 interns played by Aubrey Plaza and Karen Sony, and like they're just trying to get out of town and just like blow off some steam for a couple of days, and they're like, oh, we found this like classified ad, like this kind of ad in the newspaper where this guy says he's invented a time machine and he's looking for someone to travel with him back in time, and safety is not guaranteed. Can we go and like investigate this guy? So they leave town to go investigate. He's played by Mark Duplass, who was in Creep. He's been in a bunch of stuff as well.
I'm sorry, I just have to say something really quick.
Go for it.
I might be in the minority with this, but I think Mark Duplass is a fine looking man. I know he's like.
Then you'll love this. Then
he is not conventionally attractive by any means. He's like very. I don't want to say odd looking because I feel like that's mean, but like he's not like what you would. He's not like an Ashton Kutcher or a, or a Brad Pitt. He's very like. But I find him.
I think like he's very. No, I think he's very like. He's very normal. He's like he's just he's not like a Hollywood star. You're not going to see him like with his like abs out and like his golden locks stuff. But like there's something very attractive about the familiar and normal. So I get that. But yeah, so they kind of go to this town and they find him. He's a bit of a weirdo. And then like Jake Johnson tries to like interview him, but like Jake Johnson's obviously like sarcastic and stuff, and like Mark Duplass isn't buying any of it. So Aubrey Plaza is like, look, let me go in. You're being too aware that I can be more subtle. I can crack this guy. We can learn more about this time travel guy. And then like just over time, they start to kind of fall in love with each other. And then it turns out like while that's happening, the main reason Jake Johnson wanted to go to this town was because his old high school girlfriend still lives there, and so he's trying to rekindle an old relationship. But like Jake Johnson's like this fit looking guy, and even though he's a bit older, like he's still kind of kept himself in shape, and he's kind of remembering this kind of very romanticized version of his high school girlfriend, which was a cheerleader. But now she's like in her early 40s, and she's like a mom, and she doesn't look like she did in high school. And he's trying to like kind of process like. He's kind of forced to grow up and be like, oh, it's okay that she doesn't look like she did in high school. So there's that kind of romance there as well. It's such a wonderful little flick. Like every time, like whenever I speak about it, almost no one's heard of it. But it's just wonderful. And then like you find out that the reason why like Mark Duplass wants to go back in time is because like his girlfriend died. Like he's like, my girlfriend died in high school. She was hit by a car, and I want to go back and like save her. But then there's this twist where he's lying. She never died. He drove the car through her house, and like that's why they don't talk anymore. But they were never dating. She was just like really friendly to him, and she's played by Kristen Bell.
I love Kristen Bell.
Kristen Bell's wonderful. Kristen Bell might show up on my list again a little bit later.
Ooh, okay.
But it's just so great. Like it's absolutely like an indie film. Like it falls in like tonally. I'd put on the same kind of places like Little Miss Sunshine or something like that. It's got that very much that kind of feel to it. But it's wonderful, and like there's some really sweet moments, and that's very very funny. And more people need to see it. So Safety Not Guaranteed is definitely up there for me. Even if some people are like, it's sci-fi, it's not rom-com. There's romance and comedy in there.
You had me sold at marked up less. So.
Yeah, he's so good in it. He's really good in it. Yeah.
That's a great one. I can't wait to watch that one too. I feel like we're just recommending each other these movies now.
That's what we do, man. That's what we do. I'm glad that I'm glad that I pitched a couple of things you haven't heard of. I'm like, oh, cool. Like,
we'll have to compare lists after we watch them. Yeah.
You're gonna get like a really snooty version of rom-coms, and I'm gonna have a great old time. Like,
yeah.
Exactly. Number 4. What is on your list for number 4?
Okay, so this is a movie that's very near and dear to me. And from what I know, it didn't make a big splash. Like it didn't make a lot of money in the box office when it came out, which is unfortunate because it has a lot of huge actors in it. Like this movie came out in 2011 and it takes place in the 80s. Like it's set in the 80s. And I have to tell you, I watched this movie and I know that there's a lot of movies that do the 80s really well, but that there's also movies that like go so over the top with it that you're like, okay, like this is taking me out of like
we get it. We get it. It's the 80s.
Right.
Yeah.
This movie has the perfect balance of that where I feel like it doesn't have like that 80s grain to it. Like it's a very glossy, very nice looking film, but there's just something about it that I just feel like I'm transported to the 80s with this movie. And so that's already a plus for me because everybody that knows me knows I'm a slut for the fucking 80s. I'm a 90s kid, but I wish I lived in the 80s. I really do because that seems like such a magical time. But this movie's called Take Me Home Tonight and it stars Topher Grace, another Topher Grace movie. It also has Teresa Palmer in it, who I would absolutely 100%
she's great.
Probably go straight for if she ever wanted to, be in a room alone with me. I don't know what would happen.
I think I first saw her in Warm Bodies, and she's wonderful.
She's so good. It also has Anna Faris.
Well.
Mm-hmm, she is. It also has Anna Faris and Chris Pratt in it. Yeah. And Michelle Trachtenberg is in this movie. She plays a very weird character. She plays like a goth character, which is so unlike her. Like the first time I watched this movie, I was like, is that Michelle Trachtenberg? And I was like, yeah, it is.
She was kind of goth in Buffy, wasn't she? Was she a little bit goth?
Kind of, but she I feel like a lot of people associate with her because was Ice Princess, was that a Disney movie?
Yeah, it was. And then she did Euro Trip, and that was like, oh, she grew up.
Yeah, and she's also in Black Christmas. She's in the 2006 Black Christmas movie too. She plays one of the sorority girls.
I haven't seen that one. I've seen the original. I've seen the 2019 one with Imogen Poots, but I haven't seen the middle one. So
you need to watch the two. What is wrong with you, James?
It's not available. Not available, man. The thing's not available. I want to see it. Like it's on. Yeah, believe me, I would love to.
It's really good. It has Mary Elizabeth Winstead in it.
I love her too.
Me too. But basically the premise of this movie is about this guy that had this like huge crush. Like Topher Grace has this huge crush on Teresa Palmer's character. Like they went to high school together. She was like prom queen. She was popular. She was gorgeous. And he was like the nerdy, like smart kid. So he ends up going to MIT, but then he like ends up realizing he doesn't want to like have like an engineering job. So he basically works like this dead end job at this video store at the mall. And she ends up coming into that video store. So then he pretends like he doesn't work there. Like he basically tells her that he works at Goldman Sachs. And so he like starts this whole lie so that he can talk to her and like get to know her more because he's afraid if she knows that he works at that job, she's not going to want to have anything to do with him. So then she invites him to like this party. So then he goes to this party and then he just keeps lying about stuff like, and then it's just such a good movie. It just makes me so happy. I watch it. It has a killer fucking soundtrack. Like any 80s song that you can think of that was like popular back in the day that's in this movie, but it's not in a way that it feels like it's not like eye rolly when you watch it. It's not like, oh my God, here we go again. They're at least to me, it doesn't feel that way. I feel like every song is very well added to the film. Like it doesn't feel like, oh, this is just added for 80s nostalgia bullshit. Like it just feels right. Um,
Nice.
but I love this movie. And it also kind of has like a coming of age element to it too, because you have like the character of Matthew played by Topher Grace, and he's kind of discovering himself and like he's trying to figure out what he wants to do with his life. And so like you kind of have like this story on top of like this romantic story where he's trying to get like this girl, like he's trying to get with this girl because he like has been in love with her for so many years. And yeah, it's a great movie. I love it. I think it's fab. I think of all the movies that I've listed, this is definitely one of the ones that you need to watch first. It's
Nice.
really good.
It's
Yeah.
so funny. Like everyone you've listed, just about, I'm like, I've seen that at the thrift store that I go to every couple of weeks. Like they're all there, so I can like complete my
Yeah.
collection in like one visit.
Hell yeah.
Nice. I am a huge fan of Topher Grace. I think he's great. Like
He's so hot too.
so good in that '70s show, obviously, but then like had some really great roles, but just for some reason never like. I feel like he should be a lot bigger than he is. I feel like he should be getting a lot more. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
I like him a lot, and I like that whole cast. That all sounds great. That's probably when Anna Faris and Chris Pratt were still together, or maybe they just met. I'm not sure, but that was probably in the kindling of their relationship. So
Yeah. Yeah.
my
Jesus,
number.
Mom. Okay, God. Fucking scared. Are you okay? You look like you've been crying.
No, just hurting a little bit. I'll be back
Scared
in
the
case you
shit
need
out of me.
There's your camera.
All right, love you. Sorry. Okay, what's your number?
We
What's your
forgot to
number?
announce there's an additional guest on the podcast, Michael's mom.
My mom. Yep.
My number 4. This is my last like indie one. I've gone a little bit snobby here. Some I think it's really wonderful, and it's Ruby Sparks. So I don't know if you've seen Ruby Sparks, but so Paul Dano plays a writer, and he's like a really kind of neurotic writer. Like he wrote his first novel as he was finishing up high school, and it was really successful. And it kind of caught him off guard because he was never very popular in high school. Didn't really do well talking to people. He's always been quite shy. And then he had all this fame and success. And then for like the next 10 years, everyone's been like, when's the next book? And he just wants to kind of like keep to himself. And he's seeing a therapist, and he doesn't really get on with his family and stuff like that. And then he has a dream one night about this beautiful girl, and he's like, I can't get this woman out of my head. He goes to therapy. And his therapist is played by Elliot Gould. I can't get this girl out of my head. And he's like, well, why don't you write about her? And he's like, no, I don't. I'm not really in the mood to write right now. He's like, just write something for me. You don't have to publish it. You have to show anyone, but I'd like you to write something for me. And Paul Dano's like, fine, I'll write something. And then when he wakes up the next morning, the girl that he wrote about has come to life. And she's played by Zoe Kazan, who is his real life wife. I love Zoe.
Interesting. That's cool.
I love Zoe Kazan, and she's on my list again as well. And like, so he's written this he's written himself his dream girl, you know, like because she has all the features that he wants of her, and like his brother's played by, I think it's Chris DiMartino. I can't remember his name, but the guy from the Mindy Project.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And like he's like, you can do anything, like you can give her bigger tits, and he's like, I guess, but I never thought about it that way. And then like it's this wonderful rom-com about him being with the perfect girl, and then but like he starts to realize that like I've written this perfect girl, but in my story she didn't have a job, so she's always around the house, and now she's getting bored and she only sees me and she doesn't have friends, and now we're going to break up. So now I'm going to write a new character trait for her. She's always happy and she's never depressed. And then like when things start to go south, he changes her again, and suddenly he realizes it's this really weird, like it's almost like the discussion of consent and stuff like that is almost on the same level as Ex Machina at this point, because he's like, she's not real because I created her, but she doesn't know I created her because she came from my imagination. So am I allowed to change who she is by writing it, or should I let her be her own person? It kind of becomes this really kind of weird, like introspective thing. It's not heavy, like it sounds heavy, but it's not. It's really wonderful. But like because he's neurotic, like these themes come up and he's playing with them. And then like everything kind of goes haywire. At one point they have this huge argument because they went to this party and she was like hitting on an older guy. And he's like, you will do the things that I tell you to do. Like, you belong to me. And she's like, what are you talking about? Like, you can't talk to me this way. He goes, no, like literally I created you. And like he brings her into his studio and he starts typing on his typewriter. And then she's like, starts like changing like based on the things he's writing. And then he's like, oh, I think I'm a monster. He's like, I've got to let her free. And then like, and it has a very happy ending, and like has a very sweet ending, because it's like he never meant to do these horrible things, and he doesn't do anything horrible. He just like he's so insecure. He doesn't know how to make her happy and how to make their relationship work. So he has to kind of tank the relationship in order for her to be happy and for him to kind of move forward and stuff like that. And it's got a great cast. Like his mum's played by Annette Bening. His father is played by Antonio Banderas. He's really funny in it.
Yeah.
He plays like this hippie who's like a woodcarver and stuff.
Nice.
But it's really sweet. It's really wonderful. And even though it does get kind of dark and like ask some big questions towards the end, it's just like, again, like it's one of those films I just knew nothing going into it, didn't expect much. I was just like, wow, like what a great idea. And like look at like how you kind of played with the genre and took it into directions that most romantic comedies wouldn't even think of daring to go. Like it's so cool. So
yeah.
that's my like hipster indie recommendation is Ricky Sparks. But it's great. Like,
Nice.
it's very charming.
I love that. Yeah,
I promise you the last 3 films are all popular ones.
yeah, because I was like, I haven't seen any of yours yet. None of them.
You saw
Not
Crazy
one.
Stupid Love.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. And then I guess I saw parts
51st
of Jersey Girl.
Yeah.
So
I think it's good that we've got. I think it's good that not only our list's completely different, but also we haven't seen any of them because like we're bringing so much to the conversation. So
true, I love it. And I love that our lists are different because then it doesn't feel like we're just listing the same movies.
yeah, it's so like, by the way, yeah, Pretty Woman. I got Pretty Woman as well. Like,
spoiler alert, I do not have that movie.
Yeah,
so.
I don't have it either. I do like Pretty Woman, but I don't have it.
Me too. Yeah. So my next
3.
Yeah, we're breaking into my top 3. So my number 3, and I guess this is the one that kind of like you were saying with Jersey Girl, it kind of teeters on whether or not it's a full-on rom-com. I think it is because like at the heart of it, it's like a story about like this person who loves like their childhood friend kind of a thing. And it's gonna be 13 going on 30.
I knew you were gonna write that because we were talking before, and as we were talking, I'm like, ooh, 13 going on. Now in Australia, it's not called 13 going on 30. It's called Suddenly 30. But I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, I need to, because back in the old days, like American releases just had different titles over here. It doesn't really happen anymore.
Yeah,
I think the last one to happen was that Zac Efron one where he's dating.
17 again.
Not 17 again. It was after that. It was with Imogen Poots. And I think in Australia it was called That Awkward Moment, but it's called something else in America. I'll look it up while you talk about the brilliant Suddenly 30. It's so good.
It's so good. So basically, for the listeners who haven't seen this movie, it's basically about a girl and she like she's like a teenage girl in the 80s and it's like her 13th birthday and she invites the mean girls from school over and her best friend Matt is played by Mark Ruffalo and this has Jennifer Gardner and also Judy Greer, who I also love.
I love Judy Greer. Oh my god.
Me too. And she plays the bitchy mean girl
as Trixie the hooker in Californication. Like what a great character.
Right? Judy Greer is just so great. I wasn't the biggest fan of her in the first Halloween movie. I thought her acting was a little wooden, and
she gets a lot more to do in the second one.
But she sold me in the first movie after the whole basement scene where she's like crying, and then she goes, "Gotcha." That was when everything turned around for me. I said, "No,
I'm not even kidding." A week ago, I talked about this with Kyle, and he said the exact same quote you just said. Then he guessed that was his big Judy Greer moment.
I said, Judy, I forgive everything that I said about you in this movie. That was the moment for me. So
I found out what the Zac Efron movie was. It was called That Awkward Moment in America. In Australia, it was called Are We Officially Dating? Like what a dumb name for a movie.
Weird. I don't know if I've ever heard of that one actually, and it's Zac Efron, so that's weird that I don't know.
Yeah, it was Zac Efron and Michael B. Jordan and Miles Teller.
Ooh, Miles Teller. Anyway. Sorry. Woo, okay. You're making me thirsty today.
I was going to say it's a tall glass of water, so drink up, baby. Sorry, get back to Suddenly 30. 30 gone. 13 going on 30.
So basically it's about a girl, like on her 13th birthday, she makes a wish that she could become 30. So basically like, the universe magic happens and she wakes up 30 years old and it's like it's such a fun premise, like I love it. And like there's like this like storyline where she works at like this like fashion place now. Like she's like a big time person, like she's really famous. But then she like still kind of has this like it's not really a romance at the start, but like Mark Ruffalo, you know, has always been in love with her. But she doesn't really, she kind of takes their friendship slash relationship for granted at first.
Yeah.
And then, oh, the last part of this movie is so heartbreaking. It makes me bawl every fucking time when she's realizing that he's getting married and she comes over to his house. I'm getting teary eyed just thinking about it. She comes over to us with the dollhouse.
Yeah.
And like Jennifer Garner's acting in this scene is so pure and so good. And it's just like, it feels like when I watch this scene, it feels like it's coming from her soul. Like she's not acting, like she's actually like experiencing this. And like, that's what makes that scene so good. And oh, it's just so, it's such a good movie. And it has like such iconic moments. Like you have that like dance at like
the Thriller dance,
the Thriller dance that she does. Like the flash mob thing where everybody starts joining in and doing it. You get like so many iconic scenes like that. And then you get like a really good
with her and Mark Ruffalo in the swings. I feel like that's that was my first time seeing Mark Ruffalo, and I was like, who is? And I would have been 14, I think, when I saw it, because it came out, I think, when I was like 13 or 14. I was like, this guy's really good. And Andy Serkis plays the boss. And he's great as well. Like, he's really funny as well.
Yeah, it's such a classic movie, and I feel like when people, you know, think of rom-com, I think this might be one of the first movies they think of, honestly. Like, even though it doesn't fully fall into that category of rom-com, there's still that like underlining element of like childhood love and like, you know, falling in love with each other at a very young age and kind of growing together and growing up and realizing that that person that's been there your whole life is the one that's there, that is the one that's the one for you. It's just it's so nice. It's so cute. It makes this movie makes me happy. You can tell by the way I'm talking about it. It's just like
it's a great movie. It's actually on my honorable mentions. Like, it's really, really good.
Ooh, okay.
I just need to correct in Ruby Sparks. I said Chris DiMartino. His name's Chris Messina. I just remembered.
Okay, because I was like, I want to correct I've heard of Chris Messina.
Yeah, Chris Messina. I got it wrong. I feel like in Suddenly 30 or 13 Going on 30, it's been a while since I've seen it, but I feel like there is like a hot guy in it as well. Is that the guy that's also in Monster-in-Law? Is that the guy you're referencing? Is it the same actor? Or am I getting confused?
No, he's in another rom-com though that's on my list, and I think I spoiled that. Yet we have not gotten to it yet, but
that's
I think once I say it, you'll be like, oh yeah, it is that movie. But there's that really funny scene in 13 Going on 30 where her phone keeps going off and she's like, do you hear that? Do you hear the music? Because she's from the 80s, so she's not used to having a phone. So she's like, do you hear it? Do you hear the music? It's so funny. That part makes me laugh so hard every time. It never gets old. So.
It's a really lovely film. I haven't seen it in a little while. I think I've got it on DVD somewhere here. I don't know, but it's a solid flick. And I think that was the first time maybe I'd seen Jennifer Garner. I'm trying to think if it's before Daredevil or not. It would have been around the same time, but she'd been doing Alias for a couple of years.
But, and fun fact, I met not to tie into Taylor Swift.
I was waiting for it.
But I did. This is kind of a what's the word? A brag, I guess. Yeah. I did meet Jennifer Gardner at the Taylor Swift concert in July last year. So she was in the VIP tent right behind, like a few rows behind me and my sister when we went. And my sister loved Jennifer Gardner. Like, I'm a fan of Jennifer Gardner, but not to the level that my sister is. And my sister didn't even realize she was there. I had to like point her out to my sister, and my sister was like, she was like freaking out. She's like, I have to go get a picture with her. And so like there were so many people at the booth. It took us like 20 minutes to actually get a picture because everyone was trying to get a picture with her. And every time that Maddie would go to get a picture with her, she would turn away. And I was like, God damn it. Yeah. So we stood there for like 20 minutes trying to get a picture. We finally did. But that was a surreal moment for me. I even told her, I said, 13 Going on 30 is me and my sister's favorite movie of yours. And she was like, oh, thank you so much. She's like, that's probably like one of my favorite movies I've ever done. And I'm like, good, it should, because it's one of your best movies. So
my favorite Jennifer Garner film is actually on my honorable mentions, and it's a real deep cut. So I would have tried to blow her mind with that. I'd be like, hey, this is my favorite Jennifer Garner film.
She'd be like, oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, she probably would actually, to be honest.
Oh man. But yeah, that's my number 3 is 13 Going on 30. Obvious classic. Movie that has aged like fine wine. This movie's still Can't believe it's 20 years old this year. That so
Yeah.
fucking blows my mind. Anyway, what is your number 3, James?
My number 3 is I think like you probably would have seen this. I would say that most people listening to this would have seen this one. Very popular and like kind of came out during that new wave of comedy in the late 2000s where they kind of shifted and became a lot more adult again during that Judd Apatow wave. I mentioned Kristen Bell before, and it's Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Oh, yeah, I have seen this one.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I just watched it the other night, and the flick holds up so well. I am a huge Jason Segel fan. I always loved him since How I Met Your Mother. I think he's really charming and funny, and like
Yeah.
embraces like lovable dope very well. But like this kind of put him front and center, put him like as a leading man opposite Kristen Bell, and like just the idea to cast one of the tallest people in Hollywood against one of the shortest people in Hollywood is like already you've set it up for
I know.
success. I just think he's so like I think like his character is so relatable because he's just like the average guy, like just like not necessarily a schlub, but just like hey, like I like to hang out. Like at one point Sarah Marshall says in the movie, there was a time where you wore sweatpants all week, and it's like I'm wearing sweats right now. I do that. Like it doesn't make me like a schlub. It's just I like to be comfortable. But like their kind of on again, off again relationship is very funny. Mila Kunis is excellent in it. She's so charming.
She's so good, yeah.
Russell Brand obviously has been in some, there's been some controversy around him in the last couple of years, but like that was the first time the world had really seen Russell Brand, and like for his kind of cinematic debut, I think he's excellent. I think he's really funny in it. You've got Jonah Hill like just being like the fanboy on the side. Paul Rudd. I forgot Paul Rudd was in this movie, and he just
So did I.
He just plays like this kind of stoner surfer. It's just man, he cracks me up. I love Paul Rudd. I think he's brilliant. I've watched 3 Paul Rudd films this week, and it's been a good week.
I really like Paul Rudd too. I am I am very surprised that he even had a career in Hollywood after Halloween 6 because wasn't that like one of his first movies, and his acting, my
Yeah,
God, it is terrible. I'm like, how did this guy go from that to being like an A-list celebrity
well,
now
he had a
to where
big
it's like,
role. He had a big role in Friends, didn't he? Like he was kind of a recurring character on Friends, which I've never watched, but I think that probably helped.
oh yeah, I think you're right. You're right.
And
Yeah.
then I think like he kind of fell in with a lot of the Judd Apatow guys because he was in 40-Year-Old Virgin and Knocked Up and all of them. So um, Billy Baldwin has a very small cameo as like one of the guys on the crime show, and he just like gives out terrible puns all the time. But it's so good. Like it's so for a film that's very dirty. I keep forgetting how dirty that film is. Like it's full of
Yeah.
like like really filthy jokes. It's got such a sweet nature to it and so good intentioned. And like even Sarah Marshall, like she's kind of made out to be this villain at the beginning of the film, but when you look at it, it's like no, like she is just a normal like she's kind of like this normal person who made it in Hollywood and she's trying to grip onto it with everything she can, and she doesn't want to be kind of be left behind, and but she's flawed like everyone else. Like I don't think she's a bad person. I think she just doesn't really know what she wants and she makes mistakes. I forgot Bill Hader is also in this one as the brother-in-law who's like always giving him advice over the laptop. And the Dracula musical, like Jason Segel's like constantly like writing this Dracula musical with puppets. It's so funny. Like it's again, I think it walks that line very well. It's hilarious. Like, I've watched that film dozens of times since it came out in 2008. Again, I watched it this week and it had me in tears every single time. Like they dropped a joke. I think it's so funny. And I just think the love story, kind of the recovery of an old romance while transitioning to a new romance, I think is just handled so brilliantly. So
Yeah.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall, I love it.
Love that movie. That's so good. Yeah, that didn't make it on my list, but I'm glad it's on yours because then we got to at least talk about it.
My
Finally,
favorite,
there's a movie on your list that I'm very familiar with.
one of my favorite, and actually, what's his? I can't remember the actor's name. Jack McBrayer, who plays the page in 30 Rock. He's in it. There's like a Christian guy who's married and like his wife wants to like do all these dirty things, and he's like, God wouldn't put a playground next to a dumpster. I'm not. It's just so funny. Oh man, it cracks me
Oh my
up.
God.
But Paul Rudd, like, there's like one bit where like Russell Brand has like fallen into some coral and he's like injured, and he's like, "Can you please call the ambulance? I'm in a lot of pain." He's using his British accent, and Paul Rudd's just like, "You sound like you're from London," and it's just like,
Yeah.
Oh my god, the dude's jeez. I actually have 3 Paul Rudd films on this list. I've just realized there's one more
Damn.
coming. Like clearly, I like the guy.
Yeah,
Yes, it's so good. It's so good.
I like it a lot. I think it's funny. And
Nice.
what's the main actor's name again? Jason.
Jason Segel.
He's another one that I find oddly attractive. Like he's not conventionally attractive, but for some reason I'm like, I don't know, something about you.
Yeah,
You're
I
giving me
like as a straight guy. Like I had a big Jason Segel thing for a long time. Like if he wanted to just like pick me up like a teddy bear, I would be cool with it. Like he's
Yeah.
got such. I think because he's got such like a warm, genuine presence. Like he just seems like genuinely nice. Like I don't know. Also, you get to see him naked twice in Forgetting Sarah Marshall. So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
you get to,
Also, we didn't talk about it, but you also see Mark Duplass full frontal in Creep. So
I forgot about
just
that. It's been a
kiss
while
it.
since I've seen Creep. I
Yeah,
better
just kiss.
creep into
anyone was
that
wondering.
movie later tonight.
Yeah. You'll wear a wolf. You're gonna wear a wolf
Start
mask
dancing.
and scare your wife. Yeah. Oh,
What's
man.
number 2, Michael? What do you got?
Okay,
for
so
me?
my number 2 is the most recent film on my list, as it just came out last year. And
Ooh,
this movie was like such a surprise to me because like it has people in it that I really, really like, but I think my thought on it when I first like saw the promotional stuff for it was I was just like, oh, there's so many movies like this that have been made, and it kind of fell for me, it almost felt like it was going to fall into that category of films that we've seen a bazillion times. And in a sense, like there are some like tropes that this movie follows, but I fucking love this movie. This movie is No Hard Feelings.
I
I
love
love it.
No Hard Feelings. It was so
Yeah.
good.
It's so funny. So it stars Jennifer Lawrence, who I absolutely fucking love. I adore Jennifer Lawrence. She's one of my favorite actresses. And then Andrew Barth Feldman. I had to look it up on IMDb because I could not remember his name. And then Matthew Broderick's in this movie too.
He's so
which
good
is
in
great.
it. Like he's so good as the dad.
Yeah. And so like basically this movie is about a girl who she lives in this town. I mean, it's a beautiful place, by the way. I would never want to leave this place if I lived there because it's like
Yeah,
a
it's
beautiful, like
gorgeous.
beachfront town. Like in the summer, like this is like the place where everybody wants to go. I can't remember the exact place where she lives, but she's kind of like stuck in like this cycle of like she works the same jobs. She, lives in her mom's house because her mom got sick and passed away. So she lives in her mom's house. Like her mom gave her the house, but then her house is like gonna go into foreclosure because she can't pay for it. And so the beginning of the film is really funny because she's like seeing and she also has problems with like committing to people. So like she has a problem with like being in like a committed relationship. So like the movie starts out with this guy that she was in a relationship with towing her car.
Yeah.
And she does this bit where she tries to like win him back in her good graces. So she's like telling him everything he wants to hear, and then you see a fucking guy walking out of her
Yeah.
house. Like it's so funny. And then like you find out that these two parents who are the parents of Percy in the film, they're like so desperate to get him out in the world because he's like kind of a shut-in. Because you find out later that he was bullied like pretty badly in school, so it kind of turned him into like this person that doesn't go out. He like stays in his room. He doesn't do anything. So they like hire Jennifer Lawrence to date him in exchange for them giving her a car because she needs a car to like work
Leave.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And so like you find out like that he doesn't know that she's in on it and that like he doesn't know anything about it. So it's so funny because she
It's a
meets him
little
at
bit
like
she's all that, like in a way.
yeah, a
Like,
little bit. Yeah.
yeah.
Because it's like it's not really a bet, but it's more of so like an exchange, like a
Yeah.
financial exchange,
Like
like their
if you
parents.
can date our son and like get him out of his shell, then we'll give you a car. Like yeah.
Yeah. And so she's just so fucking funny. Like she shows up at like the place where he volunteers. Volunteers at an animal shelter, and she's
Yeah.
just like, oh my god.
The whole
It's
like
so
scene in the
funny.
van where he's like, "You kidnapping me?" Like,
And he pepper sprays her. Yeah. And then I also love how funny that scene is because after he's done pepper spraying her, she's like, well, no, I wanted to date you. I thought you were hot. And he's like, oh, really? And she's like, yes. And he's like, do you want to go on a date? And he's like, "Oh yeah, sure," and then he just leaves.
Yeah.
He's like, see you later, bye." Yeah, it's this movie's fucking great. I love this movie, and like, it has a really good ending. It kind
Mm,
of like they don't end up like they don't end up falling in love at the end. They become best friends, which is so
mm,
nice because she finally like gets the courage to sell her house and move out of this town that she's been stuck in because she talks about how she wants to go to California and surf. Like she's a surfer, like she's really into surfing, but she's always been too scared to leave. So she's always like changed her mind and come back.
mm.
Um, but in this movie, it's kind of like a coming of age movie in a sense because she's like
It is
finding
for both of
herself
them.
too.
It's for both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like a nice combination of like this romantic comedy, but also like adding these elements where both of these characters kind of go through like their own like personal journey of growth. And it's just
Mm.
so nice. I love it. This movie makes me cry every time I watch it too. Um, so yeah, that's my number two is No Hard Feelings. This movie was such a surprise to me. It was such a breath of fresh air. Like I haven't laughed in a movie this hard in a really long time. And for all the people that aren't quite sold yet, there is a
I
full frontal nude scene of Jennifer Lawrence in this movie. So
I
if
was
I haven't
about to
sold,
say, like that's in there, but like that scene is so funny.
so funny.
Like it's not sexy. Like she is completely naked, but she's like trying to beat people up on the beach, and like she kicks someone in the
Yeah.
vagina or something, and it's
No, someone punches her in the
that's
vagina,
right,
and
yeah,
then
and it's
yeah,
so funny. Um, I was talking about this to someone, and I was saying that it felt like the adult comedy had returned. We kind of didn't have a lot of comedy over the last few years through the pandemic and stuff. And then
yeah,
No Hard Feelings came out. I'm like, oh my god, like, and we're hitting the ground running. Like, what a great return to the genre. And then we had Anyone But You like earlier, like late last year, which probably wasn't as funny, but I still really enjoyed it. That was kind of my first exposure to Sydney Sweeney. I'd love Glenn Powell. Ever since
yeah.
I'd seen him in like Scream Queens or something like that. So, um, but yeah, like it feels like comedy is coming back, and No Hard Feelings kicked open the door or punched it, as it were. It's a great movie. Um,
I fucking love No Hard Feelings. It's so
yeah,
funny. But yeah, no, the whole Jennifer Lawrence full frontal nude thing was a last resort to anybody who's
mm.
not fully sold on this movie. To all the, all the straight men that want to see Jennifer Lawrence naked, well, here's the movie for you because you definitely see everything.
Yeah, it's not sexy, but it is sexier
No.
than Red Sparrow. Because she goes full frontal in that as well, and that's not sexy at all.
Well,
Uh,
she actually doesn't show her, her
Hoo ha.
she doesn't show her coochie in that movie. She
Yeah.
like you see like part of her inner leg, but like she's like partially covered. In this movie you see
That's
everything.
right. Yeah,
So
that's true. Um,
yeah.
but it's very funny. The scene where she's trying to seduce him in the house, like, it's so good.
When she's like, smack
Yeah,
it
yeah.
harder. And then he just like, he takes his foot and like pushes her onto the ground.
It's really good.
So
It's a
funny. And then when he's sitting on her lap and he looks so awkward, he's just like bouncing on her lap. It's
yeah,
so funny. Yeah.
yeah. Um,
So funny.
nice one. My number two is another Paul Rudd. It's my last Paul Rudd film. It's also got Jason Segel again, and this is the last one, which I think is kind of like it is a rom com, but that's not the main focus. But it's definitely a rom com, but it's more of a kind of bromantic comedy, and it's I Love You,
Okay.
Man. Um,
Oh, that's a good one.
I just watched this the other night actually, and it's again like first of all the casting is great. Like Paul Rudd, like whenever people say they don't like Paul Rudd, I don't get it. Like he can be hilarious and he's charming and like he's just so versatile. He can be a Ghostbuster, like he can do everything. He can be Ant-Man. But he's
He
so
could
good
also be a really terrible actor,
in
Halloween
Halloween.
6, but
But he's so good in this, and like so he plays this guy who's never really had a lot of male friends. He's always had girlfriends, and he just at the start of the film he gets engaged to oh my god, Rashida Jones. And like they're planning the
oh, I
wedding and
love
stuff.
Rashida Jones.
She's great, and she's really funny in this as well. Like she's really good, and like she's got all these friends, and the bridal party's looking like 6 or 7 people, and they're like, "Who's gonna stand next to him?" They're like, "Well, maybe his dad will." Like he doesn't have any male friends, so like he doesn't want to be the weird guy. He doesn't want to like put any kind of pressure on us. He's like, "I'm gonna go out and like try and find a best friend." And so it's a romantic comedy, but instead of him trying to find someone to love, he's trying to find a friend. So like he goes, all the dating tropes are the same. He has a series of bad dates, but they're with men to be his friends. Andy Samberg plays his brother who's gay, which is so funny because like he doesn't like Hollywood has a very, and you know you will able to confirm this for me. Hollywood tends to have a very specific type when they're casting people as gay characters. Tend to be very
sometimes they can have a very narrow view of what being gay is.
Yeah, but they cast
sometimes they nail it pretty good, but sometimes it's like, I don't know about that.
But they cast Andy Samberg, and like he's such a bro in the movie, but like, and he talks about like he works at the gym and he's like, I'm done chasing gay guys, it's too easy. I'm hitting on straight married guys to see who I can turn. Like, it's just this weird subplot. It's just one. It's just as someone who also didn't have a lot of male friends growing up, I feel very seen by this movie, but I love how they present, like they just kind of make it like it's okay to like want to have male friends and open up to them. It's okay for you guys to be silly and enjoy the things you did when you're kids. And it's okay. Like it's like the whole theme of the film is like, hey, it's okay. It's okay to do all that sort of stuff.
It's not gay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's not gay.
It's good. And I feel like you're going to love this actress when I say her name. I just feel like she's definitely like your type of actress. But it's got Jamie Presley in it. She plays like one of the friends. Yeah, I knew.
I love her.
I could tell. She's in not another teen movie as the cheerleader.
Yeah, I know. And she's also in Joe Dirt. So
yes. But so she's in it, and Jon Favreau plays her husband, and they've got like a weird, I would say, slightly toxic relationship. But it was 2009, so I guess we let that fly. Who else is in it? Joe Latrulio, who's so good. He plays.
Oh, he's great. Yeah.
I watched something else with him in recently as well. What was he in the? I can't remember what it was now. I watched something else with him this week, and he's so funny in everything he does as well. But yeah, the whole cast is good. I just love how laid back like Jason Segel is, and he's like giving all this advice on how to be a man, but he's very clearly clueless. He's just like trying to like make it work, and he very clearly needs a friend as well because all of his friends are growing up, and he's just staying the same. There's some really good physical comedy bits. Like there's a bit where they're doing like a drinking race, and then like Paul Rudd throws all up over a guy who already hates him. Lou Ferrigno is like their kind of like big cameo because they always like try to put like a weird like cameo in there, and he's selling his house, and like Paul Rudd has to be the one who's trying to sell it and stuff like that. It's just like it's a romantic comedy, except instead of a guy trying to find a girlfriend, he's trying to find a best friend. Like that's the easiest way to sell it. I just think it's done so well and in such a charming way. I've used that word a lot tonight, charming, but it just is. It's just and it's again like just like forgetting Sarah Marshall. I think they're a great pair. I think those films go hand in hand together. You can watch them back to back, which I did do this week and had like a thoroughly enjoyable time. Joel Latrulio was also in Role Models. I watched Role Models this week as well, and he's so good. Like huzzah! Like he plays the laughing guy. That flick, not a rom-com at all, but Role Models is so underrated. Another good Paul Rudd film. But yeah, I Love You Man is a great film. I'm just going to keep repeating myself, but definitely worth checking out. Not strictly a rom-com, but definitely hits all the same tropes, so it's on my list.
It's great. I love it. I also, when you brought up the actress, for some reason I thought you were going to say Leslie Mann for a second because she's also in a lot of.
I love Leslie Mann. She's in.
She's in This Is 40 and
This Is 40.
Knocked Up.
She
plays Paul Rudd's wife.
She's also in George of the Jungle with Brendan Fraser.
And Big Daddy.
Big Daddy. Don't get too close to the freezer. Your boobs will harden.
I fucking love her in like Knocked Up is not my favorite movie, but all the scenes with her and Paul Rudd are fucking comedy gold. Like when he's talking about like, oh, so I'm the bad guy or she's like, oh, so I'm the bad guy because I want to protect our kids from something and you're the asshole because you just don't care. Oh yeah, you're so cool, you're an asshole.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's also the drunk girl that like tries to hook up with Steve Carell in 40-Year-Old Virgin. She's like, I'm hungry, I'm gonna get some French toast. Like, can you blow in this for me? Because she's like an alcoholic. Yeah, Leslie Mann is wonderful. I love Leslie Mann.
She's so funny. And then that scene where her and Katherine Heigl aren't allowed into the club, and she's like, "You're just a doorman." So so funny. Like she's like one of my favorite actresses. So I
Yeah,
thought
she's
you were
great.
gonna say her for a second, so I was waiting for it. I was like, oh no, she's not in that movie. Never
No.
mind. But yeah.
But
Anyway,
you
sorry.
like look, all of your favorite actresses, like you've mentioned, because you mentioned Judy Griswold. I'm like, these are all the actresses that I loved growing up as well.
We just have a lot in common.
We sure do. Let's see if our number one is the same. I don't think it is. Like we haven't had a single crossover yet. But what is
Which
your
is
number one?
wild.
Yeah, but I like
So-
it. I like because that means there's 20 movies that people listening to can go and check out now.
True that.
Like we've just covered like almost half your weekends for the year. You can watch a rom-com every weekend.
Every
half a
weekend,
year.
yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number one, and I think I've spoiled this. I think if your listeners were paying attention, if they got through to this part,
It has
They
been
could
almost
get- they
3.5
could get-
hours. This is getting close to
they-
being my longest episode ever.
they could get past all our ramblings. So this movie is another Drew Barrymore film. It's my favorite rom-com of all time. Like I watched this movie so much, and it's Never Been Kissed.
I knew you were gonna say Never Been Kissed. As soon as you said Drew
Yeah.
Barrymore, I was like, is it the weird one where like it's definitely problematic? Like, yes, it is.
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna bring that up for sure. But it
Yeah.
has the guy that you were thinking of that's in Monster in Law. That
It's like
plays.
it's like
Jennifer-
Michael Vartan or something. Is that his name?
I don't know what his name is, but he's fine as fuck. That's all I have to say.
Let me have a
And
look. I'll look up Never Been Kissed.
He's so fine. But basically,
David Arquette's in it.
he is. Yeah, he's actually really hot in that movie too.
It
and I don't
was
really
Michael
find.
Vartan. I can't believe I
Okay.
pulled that name. The whole time I was thinking, I'm like, Matthew Vaughn. No, that's the director. Michael Vaughn. It's Michael V. It's MV something. I can't believe I
Yeah.
pulled that out like that. I'm
Nice
impressed with
one.
myself.
Good job.
Excellent.
Because I couldn't remember his name. All I remember is that he's really
Hot.
fine. He's
Yeah.
so hot. But even David Arquette is attractive in this movie, and I don't really find David Arquette that attractive. But in this movie, I'm like, I'm into it. But anyway, past my thirsty bullshit. Let's. But
We're all
like,
having
this-
drinks tonight, guys. It's fine. We're
Exactly.
all sipping away.
But yeah, this movie stars Drew Barrymore, obviously, and she's fantastic in this. So basically, it's about a reporter that works for the Chicago Sun-Times, I believe, and she's like tasked with this story to go back to high school to pose as like a student to figure out like what's new, kind of a thing. So she like goes back to high school to pose as like a student, and it's just so great. Like the dialogue in this movie, like you get this backstory where she was like really, and those scenes are really hard for me to watch. Like even to this day, like when I was a kid, those movies affected me.
Mm.
Like there's the scene where she's waiting on the porch for Billy to pick her up for prom, and he fucking eggs her, and it's so sad. It's so like that movie, that scene, I had to leave the room when I was a kid. I couldn't handle that scene.
Yeah.
It made me so sad and emotional. Like, and even today it still makes me sad. Like I can handle watching it now, but when I was a kid, I could not handle that scene. Because I don't really like anything that's like people get bullied and shit. Like it's a really sensitive thing. Like I just think it's fucked. You know, it's sad. But basically, like, yeah, so it flashes back between her and high school and stuff. And there's just so many funny scenes in this movie. Like there's the scene where she's reading the poem to Billy in class and she's like, does he notice me? Does he hear my heart screaming his name? Sometimes I feel like it's so loud the gods can feel my pain. For just one kid. It's so funny. And then there's the part where she's in the library and the girl comes up to her. She's like, what have you wanted for like ever and never thought it was would happen? And she's like, I'm the most popular girl in school and Billy Prince is asking me to prom. God. And then I have a funny backstory with this movie as well, because you know the I'm not Josie Grossi anymore line when she's like, I'm not Josie Grossi anymore.
Yeah, so I actually haven't seen Never Been Kissed, but I have seen clips. I know.
This is capital offense right here. This is
I remember the closest I came to watching was it was on free to air TV one night, and the opening scene came on with the egging, and my dad turned off. He goes, "Nah," he goes, "That's too mean. We're not going to watch that."
It is mean.
Yeah.
It's so sad. Yeah.
And then like I was never like, oh no, like The Elusive Never Been Kissed, I must watch it. But just like everything else on your list, like it's going on there. I'm going to pick it up and watch it. So
good. There's this what was I saying?
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm not Josie Grossi anymore.
Oh yeah. So I have a funny story with that. So like my best friend that I mentioned a little bit earlier in the episode, like she had a crush on a guy named Josie in high school.
Yeah.
And so I was obnoxious when I was a
We
teenager.
all
I like I
were.
was so
We all
obnoxious,
were.
but I would go out of my way to embarrass her. Like if he was in the hallway, like I would just like shout really loud and go, "I'm not Josie Grossi anymore," and she'd be like, "Shut up." She'd be like, "Shut up." No, it was just really funny. But yeah, this movie's so good. It's a classic. You did bring up the fact that there is a problematic element to it, and it's the fact that there for her it's okay because she's not really a student. She's like a full grown ass adult, like she's in her 30s, but it is very weird that the teacher starts to have feelings for her without knowing that she's actually a grown woman. Like he thinks that
Yeah.
she's like a 17-year-old girl. And that part has not aged very well. I think that part is kind of creepy. It's not like overly like sexualized or anything. Like nothing like super sexual happens. It's very tame, but there are some things that I'm just kind of like, that's really inappropriate. Like there's a scene where they're at the carnival together and he rides the Ferris wheel with her because she's by herself. And I'm just like, oh, that's not a good
Yeah,
look,
I
dude.
remember I've seen that clip, yeah.
Mhm. And then
Yeah.
there's another scene where they're at prom and he like dances with her and I'm like, not a good look. Like
Mm,
maybe things were different in the 90s, like because I think this movie came out in 99. I'm like, maybe things were different in the 90s, but this is not a good look for you, dude. Like you are a
mm,
grown man dancing with someone who you think is a 17-year-old girl and it's just weird. Like
yeah.
that aspect is kind of weird, but it doesn't like I said, it's not over sexualized to the point where it's glamorizing it in any way. Like it's just like there's just certain things that I'm like, ooh, dude, like not a good
Mm,
look. But the movie itself doesn't like glamorize it. Does that make
yeah.
sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
Look,
it's not
there
like
are just some things
it's
about some of our favorite movies that we just have to accept like are weird. Do you know what I mean? Like
right. Like it's not like Pretty Little Liars weird where it's like it glamorizes and like sexualizes the idea of a young student dating a teacher because I look back at Pretty Little Liars now cuz I started that show when I was like probably in like 8th grade I think is when that show started or maybe it was when when I started high school and at the time I didn't think that was an issue cuz I was like, "Ooh, that's kind of hot." Like
mm.
a and now I'm like, "No, that's fucking weird and really inappropriate." And the fact that they like
It's all perspective. Like when you're young, you're like that is cool, and then when you get to the age of the teacher, you're like, oh, adults wrote this. Adults said this
mm,
is okay to put out there. Like this is very strange. Yeah.
it's very inappropriate, yeah, but, like, that's why I kind of give this movie a pass because it is weird, but they don't, like, over glamorize it or be like, "Yeah,
Mm,
guys, this is cool, this is, like" they kind of paint a line where it's kind of like, "Okay, like, this is inappropriate, but we're not gonna push it past the point of just, like" because they have friendly interactions that are semi-flirtatious, but it's nothing like he's having sex with her
yeah.
before he finds out that she's, you know, so it's just a really good movie. I love this movie so much. It's my number 1 for a reason. It's just so quotable, like, aside from what I just stated, like, this movie has aged very well. It's one
Mm,
of my favorite Drew Barrymore movies that I've ever seen her in. She's so good. Um, and yeah, so it's Never Been Kissed as my number 1. Surprise
nice.
to nobody probably, but
I actually
yeah.
didn't put it together until the very end because when you mentioned there's more Drew Barrymore coming up, I was like, well, maybe Wedding Singer because Wedding Singer is a good rom com as well.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, well, there's also that other Adam Sandler movie that she's in called Blended.
Blended, I haven't seen that
So,
one.
that
It's
one's
like
pretty good too.
okay, because the concept seemed very strange, but I haven't watched it, so I'll probably get
Yeah.
to it eventually.
Yeah.
Um, alrighty, well, my number one, I mentioned at the start of this, like 500 hours ago, that there was one movie that changed my opinion on rom coms. I'm like, oh, this is done in a way that's very cool. I think maybe I'm a rom com guy now. I think this is really well done. I think it definitely helps that it's based on a true story. Um, it's quite a sad story, but also like it ultimately is a very happy story as well. I mentioned Zoe Kazan would show up again. She's back again. And it's got Kumail Nanjiani and it's The Big Sick. Um,
Oh, good one. Yeah.
I love The Big Sick. When I saw it, it was my number 2 favorite film of the year that year. I think beaten only by Logan, which is pretty much a perfect film. But The Big Sick is so earnest, and basically it's the story of this stand-up comedian played by Kumail Nanjiani. He's playing himself or a version of himself, and one night, like while doing a stand-up set, like he's heckled by a girl, and they end up kind of like hanging out a little bit and hooking up. And he ends up being an Uber driver because he has a couple of jobs, and they kind of end up starting to see each other. They have all this wonderful relationship, but then they ultimately break up because he's Pakistani. His family's constantly trying to set him up in an arranged marriage. So like she kind of discovers like all these photos of women in his apartment, and it's because like he just keeps the pictures in a box for some reason, and it causes them to break up. But then like within a couple of, I don't know if it's a couple of hours, a couple of days, I can't remember exactly, but what happens is that after they break up, something happens and no one can get in touch with her parents, so they call him and they're like, look, we're all out of town, we can't get to her parents, but she's had an accident, she's at hospital, can you just spend some time with her until her parents can fly out? And he ultimately has to kind of like sign a waiver to induce her in a coma because they can't stop this infection. And like it's this really kind of like crazy traumatic thing that really happens. Like this is how he met his wife. And so like the first half of it is this kind of very typical rom-com, and I kind of glossed over it because how much more can you get into it? But it's very funny, it's very charming. Like they're both great. I think Kumail Nanjiani is one of the funniest comedians working today. I don't think he gets anywhere near enough praise. Like I think he gets a lot of it, but I think he can get so much more. Like Silicon Valley, he's so good in. He shows up in Mike and Dave Love Wedding Dates as Wedding Dates as the masseuse, and he's genius in it. He has a really great stand-up bit about Freddy vs. Jason. I don't know if you've ever seen it. But like, where like it's so funny where he's basically like, I was in there, and like there's a moment where Freddy Krueger has to choose between killing a white girl and a black girl, and there's a black girl and he goes, how sweet, dark meat. And he's like, everyone in the cinema, including myself, were like, Freddy, like, what's going on? We had so much hope in you. Like, we're okay with the child murdering, but racism? We're on Jason's side now. Like, it's so funny.
We
like,
draw the line. Yeah,
that's it. We draw the line at racism. We're Team Jason. He's so good in it, and there's a great like montage of him meeting different girls who are like trying to set up their arranged marriage with him. It's very reminiscent of like, I don't know if you ever saw Bend It Like Beckham, but like kind of it feels a bit like a kind of spiritual like sequel to that. It feels a little bit like what was done in Miss Marvel with kind of the her Muslim background stuff, just like showing realistic portrayals of cultures and families that we don't see on film very often. So like that whole side was really wonderful. So the first half of the film is that rom-com, and then the second half of the film is him winning over her parents, because her parents fly in. Parents played by Ray Romano, who is brilliant in the film. It was so nice to see him back. And I'm trying to remember who plays his mum. Oh my god, like she's so wonderful. I can't believe I've forgotten her name. I'm looking it up quickly, but basically they know that like he broke her heart, so they don't really want to deal with him. But he's like, I think I'm going to stick around anyway, like even though you don't want to speak to me. And like slowly over time, like he starts forming this relationship with them, and then it's almost kind of like this, not so much a love story, but this kind of like him winning over the parents and like showing how much he cares about her, and like working with them to try and do everything they can to keep her safe and like recover. Holly Hunter plays the mom. She's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. I love Holly Hunter.
She's great. I just couldn't remember her name. I was going to say Sissy Spacek because of the alliteration, but I knew it wasn't Sissy Spacek.
Yeah.
And then eventually like she wakes up, but like there's like, it's very subtle. You barely hear it, but they're like, hey, she's awake. She's on a medication right now. She's going to have no filter. And so like Kumail comes in to like, he's like, hey, you woke up. Like I've been here the whole time. And she's like, why are you here? I don't want to see you. I never want to see you again in my life. And it's because she's taking this medication. She's got no filter. She can't like be cordial. And you're like, oh my god, like I guess they're gonna. That's it. Like that's in the love story. And then like there's a PS, and like kind of things do end very happily. But it's just a roller coaster of a flick. Like it's funny, it's heartbreaking. There's this moment where he's doing stand up and someone heckles him and makes like a 9/11 reference, and Holly Hunter like tries to beat the crap out of him, like to stick up for him, even though she's not really that fond of him. She's like, you don't get to be like, you can't treat people that way. There's a moment where he's doing stand up and he's like, he breaks down on stage where he's like, hey, so my girlfriend's in the hospital. That's not a joke. I don't know why you guys are laughing. Like I'm just like talking about this, and like they say if we don't do this then she's probably going to die. And like he just like crashes on stage, and like, oh my god, like it's just such a it's pretty much perfect. Like I know it sounds really depressing and people are like, why are you telling us this? But like it's just that like it's just that roller coaster, but it's so beautiful, and like you can talk about it so kind of like affectionately because it is a true story and everything worked out okay. Like there's no kind of like I don't know. I just think it's brilliant. I think he carries the film so eloquently, but everyone like is just so excellent in the film. But and it makes me cry every time. So anyway, The Big Sick is wonderful.
Every single one of these movies on my list makes me cry every time I watch it, pretty much.
I was wondering about that. Every single film on this movie has made me cry, except for They Came Together. Like that's very obviously a very silly parody, but every other one does make me cry as well.
So good. Yeah.
Well, it only took us half a day, but we got through all of our films.
We got through it, and I think, like you said, I think our lists were fun because we didn't have a single one that matched up. So,
and we all had a couple. We both had a couple that we'd seen, but a lot that we hadn't seen, which I really liked as well.
yeah.
Did you? I know we're going to wrap up because it's almost midnight for me, which means I think it's almost 8 a.m. for you. So we've been talking for almost 4 hours. Do you have any honorable mentions you want to shout out very quickly? We don't have to talk about them, so we just list them off.
Yeah, I have a couple. So I have Just Go With It, the one that I mentioned earlier, the other Adam Sandler one with Jennifer Aniston.
Yep.
And yeah, that one's great. And then I also have How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. That was originally and Matthew McConaughey. Yeah, this one was originally on my list and I took it off. It was actually going to be my like number 10 spot, but I was like, I don't know. I feel like I watched The Breakup more than I watched this movie, which is crazy for me to admit because I love How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. But I went with what I felt was the movie that I would watch more often, and it's definitely The Breakup. So
you went with your heart, which is what we need to do on our love episodes. So
exactly, follow your heart.
Yeah, come on, guys.
And then, yeah, that's it. I don't have any other ones.
I had a couple.
I was like,
I'll rattle them off quickly. So, Wedding Singer was on my honorable mentions. 13 going on 30, or Suddenly 30 was on my honorable mentions. Friends with Benefits, the Mila Kunis Justin Timberlake one, I really liked.
I do like that one too.
Just Friends with Ryan Reynolds and I want to say Amy Smart from like 2005. You didn't like that one? That one.
I don't care for that movie very much.
I haven't seen it in a long time, so it may have aged poorly, but at the time I really liked it. I referenced it just before. Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, I think, is really fun. And my obscure Jennifer Garner movie is Catch and Release. I actually really like that movie quite
that's a good one too.
Really underrated. Timothy Olyphant is really good. She's great in it. Juliette Lewis is fantastic in it. But yeah. Well, that was a bit of fun, mate. That is our list.
That was so fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
I kept trying to say that, but I was like, I don't want to interrupt you.
No,
so
you're okay. See, the thing with us is that we don't record together very often, but when we do like a month's worth of episode in one episode to make sure we get it all done.
We go all out. We make sure we take, which is what I love, because like a lot of sometimes, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing because people have lives, they have shit that they have to do, but sometimes I have people that come on here that are like, I only have like an hour, and I'm like, okay, so I have to like kind of be conscientious of that. And with you, like I just feel like we can just kind of like spitball and talk and talk and talk, and there really is no like time limit. I mean, today there was a bit of a time constraint because it was like I gotta sleep at some point.
Yeah, I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, it's almost 8 a.m. for you. It's almost midnight for me. But the last time we recorded, like we started similar time. I think we went till like you started at 3 a.m. and I think I finished at 3 a.m. It was like a weird like crossover, but it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Well, before we get out here, do you want to tell everyone where they can find you? Obviously, you've got a fantastic show. If you haven't listened to Michael's show, We Love Horror is like top tier level podcasting. It's so good. There's a really great episode that came out this year featuring me and Kyle, who was on the show recently. It's really fun. It's the longest one. I think it was 4.5 hours.
It's I'm known for having very long episodes, but this episode I think was the longest I've ever had. So it was 4.5 hours. So
it was good. The three of us clicked so well. It was just great.
And I can't wait to have you guys on again. So we're gonna be doing an episode soon. I can guarantee it. I want you and Kyle on.
He's such a lovely guy. Like I was talking to him the other week, and I was like, man, like this guy was made for podcasting. And then he was telling me all about like what because I didn't know what he did outside of his social media, but like he works in Hollywood. Like he works with Wayne Brady, and he's like Oh my god! Like I was like, tell me stories about Hollywood, man. But we're trying to get out of here, so we won't do that now. Tell everyone where
It's
they can
wild,
find your
yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, so you can find me at the We Love Horror podcast, same name for everything, TikTok, Instagram. Um, you can find me anywhere you stream your podcasts. I say I'm a weekly podcast, but I've been so bad at being consistent. But now that I'm like moved and settled and in a better headspace, I will be posting episodes weekly again. I will be getting back into that. So look out for that, and yeah, check me out if you haven't already listened to me. So
Go
and
and do
thank
it.
you, James, for having me on.
Of course, no. I was been looking forward to this for a long time. We've had to reschedule a couple of times, but I'm like, it's fine. If we get together, it's going to be dynamite, and you absolutely delivered today. I'm not going to do
Thank
all my
you.
regular plugs because that's going to take too long. But follow me on Instagram. I was a teenage film snob _ between every single word. I'm doing a lot more video content at the moment, but I am trying to get back into the photos as well. We've got some really great international guests coming up. I can't announce all of them, but there is an actor coming up very soon. She's lovely. The movie bonus guys are coming on soon as well, and there's a director I'm in the process of courting, which will be very, very good. I also just joined X, formerly known as Twitter. I don't know how much I'm going to use it, but you can. It's just Film Snob Pod on there. You can check me out there. I'm not really that active, but I'm trying to build a brand. So listen to that. Listen to that endorsement. Go follow it if you want. That's gonna do it for this week's episode of the show. It was a blast. Thank you for staying with us till the end. It was a long one, but when Michael comes on, what can you expect? It was anything less than 3 hours, you'd be disappointed.
True.
Mike will be back very, very soon. But until then, guys, as I say every single week, I was a teenage film snob, but I'm trying to be better. We'll see you next week.